So, Rebecca, you write about this idealized childhood, growing up with these sprawling fields on like Pumpkin Hill Road, and having this, what I think quintessentially in America would seem to be this beautiful childhood and this beautiful backdrop. But as the only black child in that town, in that family, talk to us about what your experience was like.
Well, it was idealistic. It was beautiful. It was bucolic. It's all that I knew, right? It wasn't until I left that bubble, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, did I realize that it was sort of like it was a microcosm of America at large, which was dangerous for me, which was actually a dangerous space. And so while we were, having birthday parties and eating dinner out of the garden and outside and just loving nature and having high tea every day, and I was also internalizing the white gaze.
Wow. I was just talking to my fiance, who herself is a biracial person, grew up with the black side and the white side of her family, about that white gaze. And how do you grow up as a young person, as an adolescent, where you're looking around and you're not seeing any people who really reflect you in terms of the physical appearance, and knowing that you are a part of a culture that you don't have access to? Tell us about the turmoil that happens there and what you experience as you're growing up.
It's turmoil, but it's also, as I've realized, a real sense of feeling bereft, feeling as though you are not being loved and gathered up and held in that blackness that, as you know, is just so beautiful and so truly important to the development of a healthy sense of self as a black human in this country. It's one of the things that I am so very cognizant of as I raise my son, which is, as I raise my son, I am in many ways re-raising myself. And that means the walls are filled with black art and our chosen black family, and we listen, to black music, and we live on a very, very black block in Bed-Stuy, and, all of those things that hold us up in blackness, that I'm so thrilled to be able to give to my son, that I didn't have growing up and feeling very gutted and sad, and not really understanding that the frustration and the turmoil was more about a sadness, right, than anything else.
I so appreciate the way that you spell that out for us, because as a black woman who grew up in a black neighborhood with a black family, I totally get the affirmation of blackness to identity. But the truth is that we have a whole kind of conversation happening on a national level about Black Lives Mattering, and we have all these great woke white people who are our friends and allies that are interested in adopting children no matter what race they are, and feel like they can give them love, and that it doesn't matter, right, that their child is black. And if you could just speak to them, it's hard, I think, for white people to understand what you mean by, like, oh, I need to have affirmation as a black person, when they're doing the right thing. They're just trying to support children, love up on children. If you could just talk to them and tell us how to raise, frankly, a black child if you're in a white family.
Okay, so you're not woke, a white woke person who believes and supports Black Lives Matter, if you say that blackness does not matter, right? So if you're saying, whatever race my child is, it doesn't matter, but Black Lives Matter. So those two, there's a disconnect there. It doesn't really track. It does matter. It matters more than anything else. It's the most important part of who a child is, particularly a black child growing up in this current cultural, socio-political climate, and also in what will be essentially an all-white microcosm, right? Unless the white parents have black folks around them, and so often, although I've seen an improvement, the white folks don't have black people in their life before they adopt black children, which is just bananas to me. And so I would say that, absolutely think about blackness, or, Korean or Asian American or whatever the race of the child, think about that, be conversant, conscientious, dedicated to that before you start thinking about raising a child of that race, because how would you know? Yeah, I mean, we are the children of our adopted parents, but we are also children of the race from which we come.
Yeah, yeah. You know, that kind of cultural competency isn't something that white people have to think about, right? Because they just move through the world and they just are. They just are. They never have to consider this at all. And I wonder, you know, what... I just wonder what sparked kind of something inside of you at what age where you had to have your own agency to kind of figure out for yourself how to connect with the spirit of race and who you are and your own like cultural isms without any of that being modeled and supported around you. It just, you know, share with us your own personal journey and awakening.
I think the first real spark was when I went on this week-long program called Close Up when I was in high school, in which you know, a group of high school students got chosen to go to Washington and learn about government by, you know, sitting in on various things on Capitol Hill. And another, it was a bunch of high schools across the country, and I had met this boy, this black boy, at a speakeasy in a neighboring town, not neighboring town, a city where I went to visit my birth mother. It's kind of a convoluted story way of telling you that this boy's high school also went to the Close Up program, and I ended up spending all my time that whole week with him and his sister and his people, and I got to be around black peers for the first time ever for an entire week, and it was just absolute bliss. And it felt just so joyful and fun and funny and welcoming and exciting. And at the end of the Close Up program, that end of week, they did a talent show, and me and a few of the girls lip synced to Mary Jane Girls in My House, which was like a euphoric moment. So that was the beginning, but that, you know, that I would go back to my white high school. And so it wasn't really until I got to college, the first college I went to was the University of New Hampshire, as white as the state, and established the first black student union there. And then I transferred to Hampshire College in Amherst, Massachusetts, which claimed a small black population and community and students of color. And there was a real solidarity and movement of conversation and curiosity. And so, and I had great professors. I had black professors for the first time. I learned about Zora Neale Hurston and Toni Morrison. And Toni Morrison is who taught me the white gaze. Like, I didn't even know what that was.
The white gaze.
Until I heard her say, it and identify it. I was like, okay, that's what it is. And so it's so important, I think, particularly for young black folks, to be able to contextualize what their instincts are and what they're feeling, right? Because for me, I knew the experiences that I had in high school, like my friend's father forbidding him to take me to the prom, or, you know, my boss at an oil company where I was a receptionist calling me the N-word, or, you know, a girl trying to drown me, you know, a white girl. Like, I knew these things were wrong, but I didn't have any language. I didn't have any language to contextualize.
Well, and those things are like super... Those things are super obviously extreme too, but the truth is that every single day we experience microaggressions as black people, like the teacher who told you were pretty for a black girl. Right? Like, what is that even about? And good white people are perpetuating microaggressions all the time. And so, I would love for you to just kind of close a note for us, because I find your story so interesting, certainly for black people to identify with, but for those nice white people who, you know, don't quite get it, the microaggressions, the being well-meaning but not necessarily having a great impact. What would you say to them about just holding space with regards to race, even if they don't understand it and know?
Retire the idea of well-meaning. Disabuse yourself of that notion that there's anything well about addressing racism, there's anything well-meaning about what racism has done to this country and the society, and make space to sit in not just discomfort, but real pain. Like there has to be a certain level of hyper compassion, radical compassion that kicks in. And that's the thing, right? That so many white folks, and you said earlier, it's like white folks don't have to think about these things, they can choose. It's a choice. And so make that choice and stay in it, as the kids say. Keep that energy from heretofore.
Well, Rebecca Carroll, author of Surviving the White Gaze, thank you so much for joining me to talk about your memoir, and I'm looking forward to reading it in its entirety.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great talking with you.